Hello, I'm Agathis and I am online, continuing to try Sunless Skies. We have arrived in the port petal Titania and we're going to explore that this episode. But first, it's time to look at our experience tab. So, we actually have 2 levels here that we can look at. Each time we get to a certain level of experience, we can choose to level up. For my first one, for my my origin, I chose Academia, which gave me a boost to mirrors, I think. Yes, and a secondary boost to iron for a bit more firepower. I studied the practical sciences. For my first level up, I think, I created a masterpiece, a scathing critique of the new astronomy. I forget what that gave us. It gave us something, anyway. But now it's time to choose our third facet, or deed. So it gives us a choice. We can raise our... you can read the flavor text here, but basically it gives us more iron and more mirrors, or more iron and more heart. So I think I would like some more mirrors and some more heart, probably. So... see, this one, you don't get much of a choice on. Oh, the other thing that some of these give you is an affiliation. So, this gives us nothing particular. Or this one, I think. So all you get is the +5 and the +3. And you can kind of interpret how you like these, to be honest. +5 +3, +5 +3. A scandal, +5 +3. Or this one, +5 +3 and +1 association with villainy. My association with thieves, outcasts and pirates. So I'm going to go with this one simply because it gives me something more than the others do. I do need some more hearts. A bit more iron wouldn't hurt. But it's the Blind Bruiser. The Blind Bruiser, a guy that we met 10 years ago in Sunless Seas quite a lot. His attempts to distance himself from his larcenous past were of mixed success. His guests were scarred and rough-spoken and told bloody tales of smuggling and thief oaths and nameless murders. So he was our mentor for a short while. There we go. I had a teacher. Now I have one more to fill. And this has come up as an extra one. This is the new one. A feud with your mentor. And once again, all this gives us is either +5 +3 or +5 +3. So I think I might explore one of the others. A scandal. You were the gossip of London salons and the target of blistering editorials in the Gazette. Mad, they said. Bad, they said. Dangerous to know. What was the incident that exposed you to the buffeting winds of public opinion? And, let's see. A parade of debauchery. Absinthe, wantonness, more absinthe. Brawling, gambling, blasphemy and slander. Absinthe and prisoners' huddy. Prisoners' huddy alone. Prisoners' honey and company. Is there a vice you haven't explored? It's possible. There are only so many hours in the day. Yes, some sort of debauched past. That'll do me. And there we go. And they all disappear. So maybe when we get another level we'll get more options based on what we chose before, or maybe it'll be completely different, I don't know. Anyway, that's us leveled up. Now to explore Titania. The rhapsodic mare invites you to sit with her on a bench. Have you ever seen somewhere so beautiful? She asks, inhaling the perfumed air. We'll fill our home with obelisks, all decorated with the most beautiful hieroglyphics, perhaps a tasteful sphinx in Valentine's Square. But if we're truly to be a haven for the arts, we must embark in greater projects. Unfortunately, we are limited on space and working with no budget to speak of. We rely entirely on donations. Would you mind taking a look at our plans? Hey, listen, if she's working just on donations, then we're not interested. We're broke. We need money. But we'll hear her out. It does sound like an interesting proposition, I suppose. She pecks your cheek and leads you to her small office at the end of the square, a building as makeshift as any on the frontier. But its sins have been covered with a fresh white coat of paint and a carved filigree enchanted by delicate colours. The walls are lined with blueprints submitted by the mayor's perfumed parliament. You've met our aestheticians, but these come from our architects. We have submissions from every artistic school, the rhapsodic mayor proudly notes. Of the celestials, of the nocturnals, of the sovereigns, nothing would delight my heart than to build them all. But we've not the foundations laid to support every project, nor, frankly, of the money. And if I'm to assign public funds to one, the others will throw a fit, and the next thing you know, it'll be civil war. But that's where you come in. If you provide external funding to a project, I may authorize it and see that it's built in peace. Okay. But we can't afford to pay for the construction of everything. We're broke. 50 sovereigns? Yeah. Okay, it's only 50 sovereigns, but fuel costs 20. Are you insane? Let's just write a port report. Titanian air is heavy with pollen, but sweet to the smell. A far cry from Albion's smoke-strangled capital. Consider other projects. Perhaps you don't like the aesthetic. Perhaps you wish to repair or destroy what you've helped to fund. The mayor is amenable to your suggestions and your donations. Could you fund the destruction of a building? Or change the aesthetic? Stagnation is the death of art. It may be refreshing to see something new. So maybe we can go back on our decision that we made earlier. But we'll leave it as it is for now, I think. What the? Dies irae, dies apis. And the air will sound a different song, the playing of indolent harps no more, but the furious beating of wings, which are the hymns of carnage. Lo, how the multitudes scatter before it, but there is no safe horizon to which they may flee, for the Chorister hive is now the sky, and the sky does crash upon Titania. Fight the Chorister hive! All hands, ready all weapons! Fire, God Christ, fire it all! So these are the bees that we've been looking out for so much. There's nothing else we can do. We can't even leave, so we have no choice but to click the button. Plain song drowns the lamentation and the fury of the mind. All the world joins death's hymnal, those who proudly defy their fate, and those who beg for wretched mercy, those who raise their arms, those who buckle their knees. The Chorister hive takes the lyrics of poets yet unwritten, the unsung songs from lips now forever silent. It is only ire and fire that quietens the voices of carnage. But lo, the song ends only by its own record. Once the nectar is gathered, the hive departs. And there is a lasting silence. So all of these things, the ballroom, the amphitheatre, the observatory, They haven't changed because it's lower than 1, because they haven't been built yet, I presume. But we did gain experience, a gourd of Carista nectar, a tale of terror, and just plain terror. Onwards! So that's it, I guess. Pay for repairs. Titania might not be in the best of shape. If the Carista hive has devastated your investments, it may be wise to repair them. No, it hasn't. Okay. What else we've got then? The Bloom Bower. Here the Titanians make their homes, each built according to the aesthetic whims of its owner. Some are tall, others wide. A few are slim and curving, while others have large, voyeuristic windows. Bloom Bower, undeveloped. So it's at 0. It hasn't been built properly yet. Here the Titanians keep their homes and private workshops. They are painted blue and gold and lit by torches. Tour Bloom Bower with the Rhapsodic Mare. What are the plans for Bloom Bower? Bower? It's Bower. Bower meaning, is Bower a kind of a glade? Or is it, hollow with a tree? I'm not sure. Bower. A folly built by a bowerbird to attract a mate. A dwelling or lean-to shelter, also known as a pergola. Ah yes, a pleasant place under the branches of a tree in a wood or garden. That's what I was thinking of, yeah. Definitely under a tree. You walk through the winding streets with the Rhapsodic Mare. We are starting small here, then branching outwards. The Celestials suggest a ballroom for us, while the Nocturnals want a theatre for their tragedies. The Sovereigns want a library. I am overwhelmed by the possibilities. I think we could benefit from them all. Yeah, you're kind of useless, aren't you? Posy Park. Here in Posy Park, Titania's inhabitants retire to relax and indulge. There are houses for tea and coffee, scenic bowers to rest beneath, and gardens of repose, reflection, and inspiration. The Titanians have built their pleasure district here. The hieroglyphics are easier to interpret here than elsewhere. We can tour it with the mayor. What are their plans for improving their pleasure district? She ambles through the pleasure district, waving at the Titanians as you pass. The Celestials want to mine the possibilities of the epic poem form in an amphitheatre. To give love poems a place to happen, the Nocturnals want a little pleasure palace. I think the Sovereigns want to build a pub, which I'm not sure I fully understand the reasoning for, but they seem to think it could help their songwriting. We've also been working on plans for an Academy of War. She looks wistfully at the sky. Sure. And Petal Fall. Again, undeveloped. I'm not going to go through that, I don't think. It's just more it's just more background. The Traveller's Return, where we can buy more fuel and supplies, but we don't have much money. Still. 47. The Construction Fund. A pane of stained glass. We need that for the clock, I think, but we can't afford it. Yeah. Okay. So we need hairs from a bee, and I don't think we can buy them, which is a shame. Anyway, let us continue our journey to where are we supposed to be going right now? No. Port Prosper, yes, to the northeast. Posey Park, yes. That was one of the places that we just were able to visit. Lawrence Scott House. I'm just circling this in case there was, yeah, a few extra bits to explore. Valentine Square. Are there any more bees around by any chance? If there's any more bees, we'll shoot them and get some bee hair. Bloom Bower. Yeah. Yeah, bees, bees, bees. Okay. Onwards to Port Prosper. Full steam ahead. For what good that does us. We'll have to come back and see. Maybe there'll be another attack later. We can just come back on a regular basis and get more honey stuff and things. I haven't seen that many enemies or monsters or anything. Yeah, that would be an ideal place to have loads of them. Even if they weren't that powerful, it's sort of in character. There's always going to be a few bees around there. You know, it makes it a little bit dangerous to visit, but maybe a little bit profitable. Glitchy, glitchy, glitchy. We're nearly there. Yes, we are. We should have rays of sunlight coming down like this across the screen. As if you could just see something through the mist. It's kind of cool. And the shape of some sort of city. The bridge's clock chimes twice quickly. This close to the Eisenbahn line, time is devious. Here is Port Prosper, and again we're running out of supplies. Is this a bridge? It doesn't look very bridge-like, to be honest. I think it's up here. There's the Fulbright factory, there's the lighthouse kind of thing. Hello? Hello? Ah, there we go. Port Prosper. The Mornington Aberthat span. Phew! Why has this come up, I wonder? Alright, man. Queen's Cross Station. A new clock tower. They plan to call the Albert clock in memory of the departed Prince Consort. Yeah, we don't have the materials yet, but maybe one day. The chairman's office, the parsimonious chairman's office. Yeah, we don't have any nameplates. Port Prosper generally. We'll write a port report. Very little happens at Port Prosper, but someone might take an interest. The factories continue to belch out smoke, while over the bridge, hopeful crowds gather outside the Admiral Nelson. Lovers can be seen strolling arm in arm along the promenade, at a respectable distance from their chaperones. There was a brief protest outside the Winwood Company factory, swiftly quelled. The scones at the Nelson were as good as ever. though the piquancy of the jam was less than might be desired. Thank you. Ah! Find the humiliated magician's house. It has a red door and is near the station. Happily, he's given you the key. The house is a monument to the humiliated magician's old career. Props and spirit cabinets line the musty hallways. Faded posters depict the magician's noble countenance as he prepares to embark on another daring adventure into the occult. Not for the faint of heart. The pernickety factor finds much to roll her eyes at. You find the battered suitcase underneath a large tabby cat. Hope someone's been feeding it. It yowls sleepily. Someone is evidently looking after the house for the magician. Oh, good. Perhaps this is his cat. A garnet-studded collar reads, Monsieur Francois. It looks up at you expectantly. Bring the cat with you along with the suitcase. The humiliated magician might want to see it again. Monsieur Francois might like an adventure. The humiliated magician said nothing about a cat. The cat may not be pleased to be put into a confined metal box shooting across the stars. Well, if you put it in a confined metal box, it might die. Or it might live. You don't know until you open the box. Let's take the cat. I want to take the cat. The pernickety factor gives you a look of abject disbelief when you ask to find a suitable box to carry the cat in. Monsieur Francois proves a very amenable traveller, however, and purrs all the way back to your locomotive. Your cook is less than thrilled at having another mouth to feed. It's only a tiny mouth. So, you elected to remove Monsieur Francois from his home and kidnap him in your locomotive in the hope that he was the humiliated magician's cat. Great. That's, So, on the trail of vanished colonists, we have found the humiliated magician's suitcase. Return to Palmyre and Plenty's to continue your investigation. I will do so. Fulbright's necessaries for fuel and supplies. Queen's Cross Station. The Emporium for tea. Well, let's attend the Grand Ball. The glory of the Port Prosper season. Candles illuminate the great staircase that sweeps up the residence of the Windward Company, which has been chosen to host this season's ball. West Enders promenade their finest hoop skirts. Hoop skirts and starched collars predominate. White tie is the order of the evening. A few EastEnders, mostly actors, have secured tickets, but most are servants if they're seen at all. The orchestra is playing the score from Victoria's first ball under her throne of hours. Be on your worst behaviour. This is, after all, a party. 100% chance of success. Be on your best behaviour. There are standards to be upheld. 72% chance of success. So we can't gossip with the servants because, yeah, we're not very well known with the Eastward people, and we can't fill out our dance chord because we're not very well known with the Westward people. Okay. I will be on my worst behaviour. This is, after all, a party. And quite frankly, we might run out of fuel and supplies very soon. Success! You drink far more than is appropriate, willingly aided and abetted by several friends amongst the servants. You dance reels and jigs, disrupting carefully choreographed waltzes. You compare the parsimonious chairman's voice to a dented recorder. You startle, you outrage, you cavort. The older generation are appalled, the younger generation delightfully scandalized. Your friends in the gallery are quite besides themselves. The stories of what you did with the bust of the consort circulate round the East End taverns for days. We are now tolerated by the impoverished East Enders. A gunshot in the night, pistols at dawn, the West Enders close ranks. So, that tells us where we stand. Or updates us on where we stand, rather. I don't think we have anything else to do here, other than perhaps move on to the next location. This is all the supplies we have, and we can't build any more, so straight on to Leadbeater and Stainrod's Nature Reserve. Onwards! It's very slightly northwest. So about there, I think. This could be our final voyage unless we find some more gold soon. Or one of those flying creatures. We might be able to get some supplies from them, maybe. I'm not sure. I hope we get some sort of random encounter with the cat. It would be nice to spend to host that zombie dead guy for a meal. But again, not enough supplies. I don't think that I've done anything particularly wrong in this playthrough yet. We've just explored it as best we can, and we are running out of reserves. Money, fuel, supplies, and sovereigns. It's just slowly trickling away. As far as I've seen, there's no real trading opportunities. There were no resources which were cheaper in one place rather than another. And even if they were, we don't really have any hold space. I mean, we've only got 10 hold space. Not much to trade. Excuse me. We're almost there. We've only burned about half a barrel of supplies. Maybe it won't be too bad. Maybe we'll get through this. The bristle-moustached corpse takes you aside. He must speak with you regarding a matter of personal importance. In the solitude of your cabin, he breaks into brittle sobs. You watch beads of ice squeeze painfully from his tear ducts. He is so lonely out on the hull. Could he not stay inside? He has picked out a cabin. Unfortunately, it is currently occupied. Eject your crew member. Your new friend will be better company. Or regretfully decline. It simply wouldn't do to go around replacing living crew with dead ones. Surely he understands. Won't another cabin do? He shakes his rimy head. We have 9 crew, and we started with 10, so there must be a free bed somewhere. It will not. It must be a recently occupied one. The empty cabins are so cold. Well, move this person into the empty cabin. Duh. This pisses me off. This pisses me off big time. because there is no logical reason why I should have to eject a crew member. Right here, we have a spare bed. We started with 9 crew members. We started with 10. We've now got 9. There is no reason to eject somebody, but the game is making me do it, and that annoys me greatly. It's a difficult decision because you're either killing somebody, which doesn't seem right, or opening yourself up to a very interesting quest line potentially. You know, this quest line has been coming back every so often. It's quite interesting. It's well written. The narrative is good, and if we decline, maybe it's not going to continue. But we have to kill someone to make it continue when we don't have to. Okay, you know, I know it's just a game, and I know it's just a storyline, but this annoys me greatly that these are the only choices. It hasn't been thought out properly. If we had 10 crew members right now, I would understand, because we're full. And if he wants to come in, someone has to go out. But we're not full. So, I will regretfully decline. I'm not killing one of my crew just so we can continue this. He nods mournfully. You give him some privacy so that he can compose himself. When you return at the end of the shift, you find that he has made himself at home in your cabin. He is asleep in your bed. Iron-hard moustaches clog your sink. His soggy socks are steaming on the heating rail. The cheek! You drive him out and collapse into bed. How cold the sheets are. How damp and hard with frost. You slip, shivering into white, barren dreams. Onwards. I'm pissed off. Let's get to port and let's move on with this. And we're going to get some terror now because we've run out of supplies again. Blah, 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 blah. We're nearly there. No. Break the news to the crew. It won't go down well. Oh. Narrow success. They exchange sullen looks. When you finish addressing them, they do not disperse. Their grumbling deepens. You need to nip this in the bud before discontent becomes insurrection. Imprison the loudest one. To the brig for now. To be set ashore at the next port. Assuming you make it to the next port. Lose crew. Impose strict punishments. It's the birch for the lot of them. Do nothing. Let them grumble. Their work and your vessel will suffer. But you need them working, not imprisoned or broken. We can lose a little bit of hull. We lost 2 hull and gained 2 terror. Some things are part of the natural order, as fixed as links in the chain. The skies are cold, fire is hot, and a crew will grumble. Onwards. This is not because we've run out of supplies, it's just because we're almost running out of supplies. How deep the greens, how cold the stars, how wild the reaches run with no sun to rule us. Leadbeater and Stain Rod's Nature Reserve. Ooh, hello. Can we shoot you? Get some stuff. Whoa! We're about to die. We're about to die. Let's just go into port. No, just get into port. That's it. We're done. Stop shooting now. That's it. We'll leave it there. Hopefully we're not going to explode. we'll leave it there for now. Please leave a like if you liked the video and subscribe if you'd like to see more. It is appreciated. I am Agathis, I am going offline, and I will see you next time.